everyone, it's Christopher from Watts Café. This is one of our first episodes that we'll be doing in English. We have a lot of content in Spanish, but we have so many English-speaking customers who live in Spain, who have property here, who are moving here, who want to electrify their homes, who want to put solar on the roofs, and they just don't have the right person to talk to because they don't speak Spanish well enough to do so. So in this special episode, I'm talking to my co-founder, Stefan, who's here with me in Barcelona today, and we'll be talking about the market in Spain for solar, and obviously a lot of tips and tricks for customers who want to make this step and want to install solar and electrify their lives, and they want to do it in Spain. So welcome, Stefan. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Christopher. Excited to talk to you today.
Cool. Let's get going. All right. So, I mean, one of the things in Spain is there's so much less development here, right? Like the market is just totally behind. Residential, we see maybe 4% of rooftops. We see no balcony solar. We see in the CNI space, it's the same. Essentially, there's also quite little development. The system sizes are much, much smaller. Battery penetration, which in Northern Europe is like essentially 100%. Here it's like 15%. New EV sales are significantly behind other parts of Europe. I think the first thing that's like, what's going on with the Spaniards? Like, why is the market where it is?
Absolutely. You just look outside the window, there's so much sun. Whole Europe is traveling to Spain for summer holidays because they want to see the sun. And isn't solar the no-brainer solution for that? It seems like it's not, and that is really astounding for everybody who comes here first. When you drive through the countryside or through the cities, there's so little solar that you see around that really makes you question like what's happening here.
And I mean, the basic reason that we obviously understand is the sun tax, right? Because up until 2019, essentially self-consumption solar was taxed by the Spanish government, more or less for, let's say, regulatory lobbyism reasons. And so the market was effectively at zero. Yeah. And then what happened? And then it started, right?
Then it started, yeah. The sun tax disappeared, which was a great first step, which really was a signal for consumers that it's actually now time to think about solar for your own home, which is a good start. So you get all of the early adopters who are interested in the technology, who are interested in the product, who are maybe a little bit of engineering geeks to start playing around with it. And then it really follows the principle, the more there is, the more neighbors actually see that there is solar, which is the best marketing for this product category that you could have.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is a demand, there is a demand side and a supply side, right? On the supply side, you need the distributors, you need the installers, you need the marketing companies, you need all of that. And then on the demand side, as you said, you need the customers, and the customers are primarily driven by other customers who've made these installations, which is the very strong network effects that exists in this business because the panels are visible, like you said. And so that just takes time to develop, and there's no shortcut to that. But I think, you know, the way that we always talk about it internally is that we're kind of now in the early stages of this third wave of solar. The first wave was essentially not a wave, which was the sun tax time, where you only had like the real hardcore eco people who, despite it being incredibly unprofitable through the tax, decided to do it anyways, which we can almost discount. And then you had this first wave, where essentially the product is solar. People installing small systems, no batteries, no real electrification, typically 6 or 8 panels, which is a 3-4 kilowatt peak installations. That's really not significant. And now we're kind of starting on this phase that we call, solar enables electrification. And that's, I think, where the market is starting to get really exciting, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's great to have solar panels on the roof. If it's 6 or 8, it's better than 0. But ultimately, where we're going to is really the whole electrification process. Every household will electrify more and more over the next decades. There's just no way around it. And ultimately, there's so much potential with solar. As soon as you add a battery storage, you can actually balance a little bit how you use the energy that is produced. We're now starting to get the electric cars in front of the door, which means that you need an EV charger, which works fantastically together with solar and the battery storage, which is now the next wave. And with all of the new regulations in the EU around decreasing carbon emissions, heat pumps is the next topic on the agenda that will come for sure, which is again a fantastic combination with solar.
Yeah.
So electrification is coming, and now people are really starting to understand that this is the way to go. There is no way around it, and it's actually a relatively easy way to go about it. Solar is a super safe technology. It's not incredibly difficult to install if you have qualified installers, always adding this if. But with that, you can really save tons of carbon emissions over long term. You save a ton of costs, increase the value of your home, and so people are not waiting any longer to participate in that.
Yeah, and it's an incredibly attractive investment proposal. If you have some funds that you can invest, and you can make this 15, 20, 25,000 euro investment. It is incredibly profitable because you switch out so many running costs, and you're just making the value of your property increase. And it's probably one of the best ways that you can put that amount of money to work. It's almost sad that you can't put more money to work because it's a lot more attractive and a lot more stable than any ETF or any other kind of public market investment. And that's something that we're starting to see here in Spain, and that's coming bit by bit. But at the same time, especially now over, let's say, the last 18 months, the market has been quite turbulent because there were through the boom after the end of the sun tax, you saw a lot of companies jumping into the market, a lot of, let's say, semi-serious offerings in the market. And so a lot of those companies got washed out or struggled or had to downsize in 2023. And now we're kind of, again, market's starting to pick up now. More and more customers are kind of looking at this. And obviously for us, we see a ton of expat customers who are not Spanish, but are coming here from the UK or from Germany, the Netherlands, Scandinavia, who obviously have maybe a little bit more cash to invest, but also especially just are much more familiar with this technology because they have it themselves in their homes in Northern Europe or have family and friends who've done it. So they've kind of gone through this first wave of questions, but that leads them to other questions, which is how to do it, who to pick. And that's something that obviously you have a ton of experience with dealing with the regulatory and all the bureaucracy and the fear of doing that as an expat.
Absolutely. I think as an expat, being in a different country where potentially people speak a different language that you're not completely familiar with, you're always afraid of doing something wrong. And finding the right partner to do whatever is absolutely crucial. I think with solar, what we definitely see is that a lot of people think about solar as, I get electricity out of my plug anyway, so solar is kind of an add-on. I don't get anything fundamentally new, but electricity is ultimately the output. But actually, it's quite a bit more. As you said, it's really a great long-term investment. It is clean energy that is so much needed, and therefore people really appreciate it. And so then the question really comes up, like, how do I get it? What do I need to do? You read a lot about solar in Spain. As you said earlier, there's not so much penetration as in other countries, so you kind of start with asking yourself, okay, if all of the others don't have solar, then it's probably a bad thing. In short, the answer is no, it's not a bad thing. It just takes time until a lot of people have it. You then read a little bit further, and then you read about construction permits and electricity contracts and legalization procedures, and then you read about subsidies that are there or not there, and nobody really knows. And this just makes it incredibly complex especially for our expat customers. And so finding a partner who can actually guide them through this whole process is absolutely fundamental. Solar is supposed to be for 25 years on your roof, so doing it right from the get-go is probably the wisest decision you can take, and so therefore you want to make sure that you take the right decision and the right partner right away, Ultimately, it's on your roof, and you want to make sure that your roof stays without leaks and actually keeps sheltering you.
Yeah.
Therefore, you really need somebody who is qualified to do so.
Yeah. And then you run into the language issue, right? Because a lot of companies have, maybe a website in English, but then the moment you get on the phone with someone, that's where things stop. And being able to do the process in English, that just makes life so much easier for customers from Northern Europe who just oftentimes feel more comfortable in English than they do in Spanish. I think that's something that we pride ourselves in, that we have so many people on the team. Effectively, almost everyone on the team can speak English, and sure, we try to keep the process as streamlined as possible, but there's always someone there that can translate should it be necessary. And I love the tip that you always give about just doing everything in writing, just to be sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Understand that if you look at solar for the first time in Spain, it looks like a ton of bureaucracy. Don't want to frighten anybody, but there's quite a bit of it. And so remembering all of the steps that you have to take from a phone call is very, very difficult. So to just have everything in writing to understand like what's going to happen next and what do I need to do, what does the provider do for me, like just keeping all of that together and very clean is just crucial for everybody. Otherwise you'll have a constant back and forth, and for a customer, you just don't know like where are you in the process and what's going to happen next.
Yeah. And Spain loves bureaucracy. They're just not very good at it. So it's there are some hurdles to jump through. And I remember having to call Endesa, my electricity provider, for the first time living here. I just had cold sweats because no way to do anything in English, and Spanish bureaucracy is more challenging than Spanish non-bureaucracy, just language-wise, and doing it over the phone where you can't help yourself with a piece of paper or some hand gestures, but you're just talking to someone on the phone. It's just very nerve-wracking.
Absolutely, and I think at the same time, not all of our customers are electricians, so therefore understanding the whole technology, what's the best choice for me, how does this all work together, if you take panels and an EV charger and batteries and heat pumps, and how does this actually all connect, and how do I optimize this? This is for anybody a little bit difficult, and so just having all of that together and having just this ability to communicate very clearly and very precisely is absolutely crucial, that ultimately you feel that you got most value out of it.
Yeah, sounds good. I think now is the time for customers who are coming here, who have their properties here, whether it's in southern Spain or on one of the islands, to get in touch and to get this process rolling, to make sure that we move Spain to more energy independence, better savings, better investments, and ultimately doing the right things for our families and for the world. So we're very excited to help all the English-speaking customers who come our way, and we'll be there to assist them along the way.
Absolutely. We'd love to help anybody who wants to jump on the train. As you said, it's the right time. It's just the right thing to do. And looking forward to answer any questions also what the viewers might have.
Awesome. Thanks for coming, Stefan. It's been fun.
Thank you, Christopher.
So that's it for this week's episode of Watts Café. As always, you can find us on all the social media. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and obviously you see all the links down below. Today, obviously a very special episode, as I've got the chance to chat with Stefan. We obviously chat every day, but to do it on camera is always fun. And we'll see you in the next one. We have a lot more content in Spanish and in other languages, but we'll be producing more English-speaking content over time. And as always, you can reach out to us anytime. We'll be happy to help with any questions around electrification and solar. So thanks for tuning in.